The historic city of Hamedan at the west of Iran is the oldest capital of the country, with more than 3,000 years of history. During its days of glory, Hamedan was home to great scientists, philosophers, artists, and poets, some of which are still buried in the city. Today, mausoleums are one of the attractions of this favorite Iranian tourist destination. A trip to the city of Hamedan would be incomplete without a visit to the tomb of the very modest of all Iranian mystics and poets. For hundreds of years, the verses of Baba Tahir Oryan have been the source of lullabies of mothers to their children. In Persian, the word Oryan means naked, but this does not mean that Baba Tahir was not wearing anything. This means that he was free from all the worldly bounds. A thousand years after his death, Baba Tahir is still revered by many Persian speakers who admire him for his unique style of poetry, both rich and simple.
یه پیر 1000 سال پیش اینجا زندگی میکرده. میگه منو خانه خودم دفن کنید. در اصلی سنگ ساده که می‌بینی خود پیره. برای چی سنگ ساده گرفتن روش؟ با خاطر لقب پیره. لقب اوریان به طور کلی عاری تقلبات دنیوی، عاری معصیت گناه، پاکی لقب اوریان با خودش گرفته.
Before the Safavids introduced a new era of Islamic art with their famous tile works, plaster and bricks were the main materials used by architects in creating important buildings, like mosques and palaces.
Gumbad Alavian, or the Alavian Dome, is the name of a mosque built by the Alavi family during the late Seljuk and the early Ilkhanid dynasty. Today, this mosque is located right in the heart of Hamedan city and contains a treasure of Iranian plasterworks within itself. The Seljuks and the Ilkhanids were the descendants of Genghis Khan, the Mongol conqueror who ravaged Iran. After his death, the Mongols still ruled Iran, but they got influenced by the glory of Islam. They became Muslims and had a strong passion to build mosques. And this strong passion, along with the skill of dexterous Iranian artists, created unbelievable works of architecture that are still unmatched until today. The Alavis were Shiite Muslims. They regarded themselves as the descendants of Prophet Muhammad. They kept this basement as a secret location for their sessions and religious prayers for years. After that, the place turned into a burial place for some of the Alavi family.
Many regard Hamedan as a timeline of different historic periods of Iran that shows the splendor of Iranian art and architecture from prehistoric times until today.
Nearly 10.5 centuries ago, a man was born in the city of Bukhara, which was at that time a part of Iran. He was a natural-born genius that left behind a legacy of science and knowledge, not just for the people of his homeland, but for the entire world. Today, all the scientists in the world are familiar with the name Avicenna, or as he's called in Iran, Abu Ali Sina. He was known as the shining sun of the East and undoubtedly the greatest scientist of his time. At the age of 5, Avicenna memorized the entire Quran, the holy book of Islam. At the age of 17, he had dominated all the sciences of his own time. During his life, he compiled hundreds of books, journals, and pamphlets on different fields of science, including medicine, alchemy, physics, and philosophy. Avicenna's canon book of medicine is still used as the most reliable reference of old medicine across the world.
تالاری که ما الان درش قرار گرفتیم و تالار کتابخانه هست، کتاب‌هایی از ابوعلی سینا در داخل ویترین‌ها قرار گرفته شده. 3 تا کتاب که کپی از دست‌نوشته‌هایی که منسوب به ابوعلی سیناست.
The Mausoleum of Avicenna is one of the architectural symbols of Iran. Designed and built by Hushang Seyhun in 1952, the building turned into the most outstanding symbol of Hamedan.
Seyhun was one of the greatest contemporary Iranian architects. He used all in his talent to make the name Avicenna stick to the memory of all by building this beautiful mausoleum. Each one of these 12 columns represent one of the fields of science that were dominated by Avicenna. The columns finally converge under a cone that points to the sky, referring to the unlimited boundaries of science and human wisdom.
Historians refer to Iran as the cradle of Eastern civilizations. Hamedan is one of the cities where some of these civilizations join and interconnect. Amir Mehdi Kazemi for Iran.
Over the past few weeks, we've been covering Hamedan, a city in the center-west of Iran. One of our followers on Facebook, More, left a comment saying, "Enough with Hamedan, move on to Kermanshah." Kermanshah is another historical province right next door to Hamedan, and we'll definitely be bringing you features about Kermanshah in upcoming programs. But as for Hamedan, the city's attractions could not fit into just one feature, so we had to make a sequel. And besides, Hamedan is a historical city with an ancient history, and if we wanted to make just one feature for every year that Hamedan has been in history, we'd have to make like 3,000 features. But this is Hamedan's sequel.
Iranians usually believe in having a big breakfast before going to the mountains, and this is exactly what happens here in Hamedan. Those who would like to go to the mountainous region of Ganjnameh first stop by at a traditional cafe to have this breakfast that consists of a flatbread called yerde, a combination of cream and honey, and a special yogurt drink that is sour. It's called a duq.
Abbasabad is the name of the most famous mountain getaway a few kilometers southwest of Hamedan city. The Abbasabad road leads to a vibrant mountain resort known as Ganjnameh. The place gets its name from an ancient monument, which was the main reason that the tourist resort was formed at first place.
When Darius the Great, the Achaemenid Emperor, and his son Xerxes ordered to carve 2 inscriptions on a cliff near the city of Hamedan some 2,500 years ago, they did not think that someday their effort would turn this area into one of the main tourist destinations of Iran. Ganjnameh, or the Letter of Treasury, is the title of these 2 cuneiform inscriptions.
The 2 inscriptions introduce Darius and his son Xerxes and elaborate on the scope of the Achaemenid Empire.
Ganjnameh inscriptions were written in cuneiform alphabets, and they were in the 3 languages from left to right in Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian. The only difference is that the first one on the top refers to Darius the Great, and the next one refers to his son Xerxes.
There are many ways to lose yourself in the refreshing atmosphere of the Alvand Mountains where Abbasabad and Ganjnameh are located. And no matter how old you are or what taste you have, you will always find a way to enjoy yourself to the fullest. Ganjnameh is also a perfect place for a gastronomic quest, where a wide selection of traditional Iranian snacks and goodies are available.
also another attraction of Ganjname, which absorbs people in their thousands like a magnet. It's a small waterfall, but in a country like Iran, where it's arid in most places, this is considered a real big deal. People gather here in their thousands to take pictures right by the cold water.
Hamedan has its own unique style of leatherworking. Leather products vary from shoes and handbags and belts to hunting gear and cell phone cases.
The 200-year-old bazaar is one of the main attractions of Hamedan city. The bazaar dates back to the Qajar era and has several entrances that open in different streets. This wing is dedicated to leather, one of the favorite handcrafts of the city.
یکی از مهمترین بخش صنایع دستی همدان همون کار چرمشه. چرم همدان لازم مقاومت که خیلی بالاست، خیلی لوازم شکار و لوازم سوارکاری کیف اینا خیلی بیشتر مصرف میشه و چون که این چرم سنتی حساب میشه و کار منم کار سنتیه بیشتر با کار دست انجام میشه.
Let's see if he's going to make a hunter out of me or not.
What makes Hamedan confectionery so exciting is that unlike other Iranian pastries and candies, they are not widely available anywhere else. So to get a taste, you have to come all the way to visit Hamedan. And truly, it takes a champ to say no to some of these delicacies.
This is the sweetest part of our trip to Hamedan city. We have come to one of the most famous confectioneries in town to try out some of the traditional pastries and sweets of Hamedan city. It is interesting that some of these sweets have been registered as the city's cultural heritage. Now this gentleman here is Mr. Nujumi, and he's going to show us how he makes some of his goodies.
اینا شیرینی‌های سنتی همدانه. این شیر مال روغنیه، این شیر مال سنتی کماج، زردست، انگوش پیچی که حالت دسر داره، معمولا صبحانه خورده میشه. ترکیباتش از زرده تخم مرغ پاستوریزه استفاده میکنیم، بعد این از سفیده تخم مرغ استفاده میکنیم. حالا چرا میگن انگوش پیچ؟ چون وقتی میخوای برداری حتما باید بچرخونیتش، چون یه حالت کشمانندی داره. زرده از زرده تخم مرغ پاستوریزه شده استفاده میشه. خیلی لذیذ و خوشمزه.
Hamedan is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, with 3,000 years of recorded history. A city with incredible people. A metropolis of unique monuments and natural beauties, where history and nature are entwined. I'm Mehdi Kazemi for Iran.